In today's video, I'm going to take you through some of the less glamorous features that were introduced as part of v1.4.71 by Fender for the Tonemaster Pro recently. In my previous videos, I've shown off probably the biggest feature that was added, which is scenes. I've also recorded a video on the new Virtual Capo that was added. And of course, the new amazing 59 Bassman custom amp that was added too. But today I'm going to show you some of the features that have made the Tonemaster Pro even more intuitive than it already was. So the first feature I want to talk about is Fender have added support for multi-selection of presets within the Pro Control desktop app. This means you can now do bulk move, clear, and export within My Presets and Favorites. So let's jump in and have a look at what that means. You would probably expect that you could already do this in an app, so I'm glad that they've actually added this. And with a lot of these things that have been added in 1.4, it's kind of workflow and UX improvements that have really made this much easier to use, much easier to create presets, editing and updating. In the past, you could only select one preset at a time. I can now hold down the Shift button and select multiple presets, and I can drag them, move them to a new position if I wanted to. And there we go, they're sort of reordered, and you can see it moving around there. I just pushed it up one, so if I do that, you can see it all reorders again. You can also select multiple, right-click, and then you can either delete or export the selected presets. Export selected presets is also a new feature, by the way. You click on export and it will save them to your local drive, which means you can then share them with people and they can import. Now, importing is really easy. You just drag and drop the preset file into Pro Control and it will add it into your list on the left here. Now, another improvement is you can now reorder your block presets in the add and replace menus. So if you see here, I have the SM57 and R121 block presets for my 4x12 British V30 cabinet, and I can reorder those in any way that I want. Now again, it's a small improvement, but it just improves the workflow. It makes editing and updating a lot easier because you might have one that's your favorite that you always go to. You want that top of the list. Another improvement to block presets is you can now overwrite existing block presets with the Save Block Preset workflow. So previously, if you wanted to edit a block preset, you needed to either delete the existing one or you needed to have enough space to create a new block preset in your list. I think you can only save up to 5. So what you do here is you make your change, go to block settings, save block preset. Now, instead of entering a custom name, you can see a new button here, select an existing block preset to overwrite, and then you just choose the preset you want and hit save. So in the previous firmware, if you wanted to try out a different amp and you went into this replace menu, you can actually preview how it sounds as you're clicking through the different amps. And you can see underneath that it's actually replacing the amp here. So what used to happen was when you were auditioning, it set that as the new amp, regardless of whether you wanted it or not. You couldn't cancel out of that. So that's now been updated. So you can see the 800 British is showing underneath here. And now if I hit cancel, it goes back to my EVH 5150 amp. This is kind of behavior that you probably expect in the application. So it's a really good addition to the feature list. I should also mention that when you cancel, it does also retain footswitch and expression pedal assignments too. Fender have now added a global option for the default preset LED color. When I go into foot switches, the default is currently set to blue. I change it to yellow, and when I select the preset, it changes to yellow. Now if I go in and change it to green, you'll see that that now is set to green. The next feature that Fender have added is the ability to save custom names for global EQ user presets. I don't use the global EQ very often because I just play mainly at home. But I can see that this is very useful for playing live if you want to set up like a bass cut or something in a room that's very boomy. And the user presets obviously lets you then tune that to exactly what you want. You can, boost and cut frequencies to match whatever environment you're in. Having the ability to save a particular name is probably very useful too, especially if you say have a rehearsal space that you always go to and you want to make sure that that's your rehearsal preset. So let's do that. Let's say we want to save user 1 with this strange EQ setting that I've just done. So I hit save, select user 1, and now you see the 3 button icon here means you can select that and now rename the preset. So if we call that rehearse, save and save again, that's now been renamed in the global EQ. There's a new option for sending USB 3 and 4 output to your DAW as pre or post fader. Next feature is a fun little feature I didn't know about when I released my scenes video. If you haven't seen that already, please check that one out. So when you have a preset selected that has scenes, you'll see this word bass written after the name, and this is actually a select drop-down. So when you click on that, you can see the different scene names underneath, and that will select your scene. Now in the Pro Control app, that's really not that useful because you can use the left-hand nav here. However, this also works on the touchscreen on the Tonemaster Pro itself. So you could be in a footswitch view and showing some parameters on the footswitch pedals itself and still be able to go and tap on that menu select and switch scenes that way as well. It's just another little feature showing how Fender are working with their UX team to figure out if there's better ways of navigating while using the Tonemaster Pro. Another feature that's been added to song mode is you can now set the song BPM. So if you look at this song here, I just have one preset assigned and you can see it says song BPM off. If I then click on the song BPM here, I can change it to whatever I want, let's say 144, and then you can see that the song BPM has been added here. You can also use the tap tempo to change the BPM as well. And now when I change from song to song, you can see that that BPM has been retained. So that's good for time-based effects. I'm not sure if this was added as well, but you can also choose between label and preset name or label only in the footswitch song custom label display setting. So here you can see it says rhythm always on the run. If I then go to the menu and change that to label only, it will now just say my labels and not the song name, which makes it a lot clearer to read. So I'm going to add a preset that I know has a scene, which is Satriani Memories. I can then choose which scene that I want to add. I'm going to say clean, confirm, back, and now that says rhythm. If I change the song's custom label display now back to label plus preset name, it will show the label plus the preset scene name. So in this case, it might make more sense to have a different label. And then you can say memories clean. Just to show that again, I go memories, lead. I change this to memories, confirm, and then I have memories clean and memories lead. And those are both scenes from a preset in song mode. You can now also select multiple songs to reorder in setlist mode. And as well as that, you can also select multiple songs so that you can clear or delete them from your setlist. I hope this video has been useful to some of you. If you have any questions or want me to cover anything in particular, please let me know in the comments.